Now we have begun our discussion on very interesting and important families from monocotyledons. Saturday, we have discussed a very important family, and this family was Alizomataceae. And today we are going to study the another family which is closely associated with the Alizomataceae, and this family is Hydrocharitaceae. So that way Hydrocharitaceae is one of the important family of the monocots. It is not directly treated as a primitive family, but it is one of the major families, significant families of monocots, because it is again another advanced family of aquatic monocot. Now, Hydrocharitaceae is a cosmopolitan family almost found in all 5 continents. The members are present both in freshwater, in brackish water, as well as some members, at least 4 genera have been reported which are present in marine water also. So they are present on the seashore. As far as the Hydrocharitaceae is concerned, in the world at the moment, 18 genera have been recognized and confirmed with 135 species. If you study the previous textbooks of taxonomy, you will find that Hydrocharitaceae was reported with 28 genera. But recently, because of the phylogenetic treatment, the Hydrocharitaceae family has been split into several other subfamilies, and the several significant important genera, they have been separated from Hydrocharitaceae, and they have been placed from the generic level to the family level. So there are 2 genera. One genera is Apenogeton, again which has been separated from Hydrocharitaceae, and another important genera which has been separated is the Najas. So that also genera has also been separated from Hydrocharitaceae. So at the moment now, Hydrocharitaceae, it contains 18 genera. Now as far as the family is concerned, the members are either free floating or generally they are submerged along the margins of the water body. The plants are obviously herbaceous, and most of the times these are perennial ones because they are having a perennial stem or perennial submerged stem without nodes and internodes. As far as India is concerned, about 10 genera are present and 38 species are present, and this family is spread almost all over the India. So right from the South India to North India, everywhere in the fresh water body, we will be seeing these members. As far as the Hydrocharitaceae is concerned, in India, the members are present mostly of submerged type. So most of the members, they are submerged hydrophytes, they are perennial, and very few times the shoot part comes above the water body. So obviously the plants are aquatic, they are submerged or free floating, they are herbaceous, and they are perennial because of the perennial stem. The stem is a corm or a bulb, and it is showing the ridges and furrows in the form of scales which are present with the nodes and internodes. Sometimes when the submerged stem is present with the nodes and internodes. I'll be giving you some examples. So it is green and herbaceous. As far as the leaves are concerned, the leaves are of both the types. The leaves are either exstipulate or stipulate. The leaves are always simple. They are pinnatified. Sometimes the leaves are dissected, and that's why they are pinnatified. Generally, the leaves are either alternate or opposite or whorled. They are present in the radical form or they are present in the regular form. So they may be coming from the basal submerged stem stalk, or the stem may be present in the form of nodes and internodes, and the leaves will be present around each node. Very interestingly, the leaves, they show the presence of trichomes. The hairs are present, Generally, these hairs are unicellular or multicellular, and many of times the hairs may show the presence of glands on their surface. There's one more important uh, feature, which is a phylogenetically significant feature, and that several members of this family, they show the aquatic cam mode of photosynthesis. So they are actually assimilating the carbon dioxide, which is present in the water body, and it is getting converted to malic acid, and this malic acid is then converted again into the CO2, which is further used for photosynthesis. So there is a separate aquatic cam mode of mechanism is present in several of these members. As far as India is concerned, the few genera which are very important and common with us, the most common is the Hydrilla. You might have studied right from the 11th standard. Another genus is the Idolia, very common genus which is present around us almost in all stagnant water bodies where we are having the ponds and ditches. The genus is Hydrocharitaceae. There is one genus which is generally present and found in Konkan and at high regions, that is called Otilia. Then generally in the large lakes where the water body is in the form of a brackish that is not moving, then along the margins of the water body we will find another submerged plant, and that genus is Vallis Maria. And then there is one plant which is present on the coastal region in brackish water, and that genus is Halophila. It is a marine Hydrocharitaceae member. That genus is Halophila. So because of that, this family is that very interesting. Now this is the two members which I have shown. The figure towards the left side obviously is the figure of Hydrilla, and you can see that the Hydrilla stem is showing the axillary inflorescence, the singular flowers which are coming up, and the flowers are having the typical calyx and corolla and perianth lobes. On the contrary, on the right side, the flower is born in a sessile form, in axillary position, and it is an axillary cymose. Now here also the flower is axillary cymose. It is a few flower sign, and here the flowers are sessile. So this example, the example on the left side is a Hydrilla, and the example which is present on the left side is obviously the example of Vallis Maria. Now this is another plant which is generally grown as an ornamental plant. Now this is a genus which has been separated from Hydrilla, and it is called the Elodia. Now the difference between the Hydrilla and Elodia is that the leaf architecture is different. In Elodia, it is ovate shaped leaf is present, whereas in case of Hydrilla, it is having the acute apex, so it is pointed, and it is having a prominent midrib, whereas in Elodia, the midrib is not single, but three midribs are present. Central midrib and two secondary midribs are present, and that's why this genus is called as Elodia. Now this is a very common plant which you might have observed everywhere, because even in ponds also, in ditches also, this plant is very common, which is having a typical heart-shaped leaves, and this genus is Hydrocharitaceae. Now this is a typical diagram of the Hydrocharitaceae, where you can see a single flower which is coming from the axillary position. It is having a bract at the base, and then it is having the calyx, corolla, androecium, gynoecium. Very interestingly, you can see the stamens are branched. Now you can see the figure F, G, and also in the D figure, and also the B figure, which is showing the single stamen, where the stamens are branched. They are not single. The filaments are branched, and these branched filaments, they are bearing the anther lobes. And that's why this is a very interesting and distinguishing character of this family Hydrocharitaceae, where the filaments are branched, and that's why the stamens are many in number. They look many in number. So this again is the genus of Hydrocharitaceae. Now let us go for the reproductive characters. As per the Hydrocharitaceae is concerned, the inflorescence is always in axillary position. It is a few flowered sign, or the inflorescence may be spathious. A spat may be present. That is, a leafy bract is present in between. The flower is born. Obviously, the inflorescence is and the flowers are submerged in the water. The flowers are bracteate, They are trimerous. Usually the flowers are bisexual, but in some cases the flowers may be unisexual also. And then the plants may be monoecious or dioecious. And the flowers are that way small in size. They are regular. Sometimes the flowers are incomplete because many of the times the calyx and corolla may not be separated and the perianth lobe may be present. Because of that, it may be called as an incomplete flower. Or otherwise, in Hydrocharitaceae, the flowers are regular one and they are complete one. Here, there is one more characteristic feature that in Hydrocharitaceae, the ovary is inferior. In Alizomatosaceae, we have seen that the ovary was superior, whereas in Hydrocharitaceae, the ovary is inferior. As I told you, the bract is spacacious. It is large, boat-shaped, and it is cephaloid, green in color. It is much more larger and bigger. It is looking like a legume. Now, as per the flower is concerned, the perianth is containing the distinct calyx and corolla. Usually, calyx and corolla numbers, they are 3 plus 3. There is 3 calyx lobes and 3 corolla lobes. They are free, and calyx and corolla, they are alternate to each other. Either they are having the valvate estivation or they may be having the imbricate estivation. Generally, the perianth lobes, they are petaloid obviously, but sometimes the calyx also is petaloid. The petals may show an appendage at the base, and that's why the petals are clawed. Now, this clawed petals, this is an advanced characteristic feature of this family. Now, obviously, as far as the estivation is concerned, either it may be the valvate or it may be the imbricate estivation. As far as the stamens are concerned, in Hydrocharitaceae, the stamens are usually 1 to many. The number is always more than 6 or 8 or 12. The stamens are free, they are branched. There is one more characteristic feature of the stamen, and that is the stamens are born in many whorls. So they are not in a single whorl, but many whorls are present, and because of that, this Hydrocharitaceae family is treated as a primitive family among the monocotyledons because of this unique character that the stamens, either they are present in the branched condition, the filaments are in branched condition, and each branch lobe or filament lobe is containing a single anther lobe, and then the stamens which are present, they are present in many whorls. So it is not uniseriate, but it is multiseriate or miniseriate, polyseriate. So the stamens are extros, they are opening outside, they are included, that is, they are present in the perianth lobe, that they are smaller in size. The anthers are diachous and they are opening or dehiscing by longitudinal slit. Obviously, the stamens are basifixed in nature. As far as the ovary is concerned, the ovary is tri or polycarpellary. Poly means many. The ovary may be tricarpellary or polycarpellary. It is syncarpous. So the carpels are fused together. It is inferior. Very interestingly, it is each ovule is unilocular. So depending upon the number of locules, you can identify the number of ovaries, but it may be showing the presence of false septa. So this false septa character is very similar to the family of Menispermaceae, and this Menispermaceae belongs to the Parates group of dicots. So this false septa is present, and this false septa is generally found in the Menispermaceae as well as it is found in the family Cucurbitaceae. So false septa is present. Very interestingly, the ovules are many in number. Again, the ovules are branched and they are born on parietal placenta. The best example of this presence of false septa and many ovules which are born on the parietal placenta is the example of pomegranate, the family Onagraceae. तुम्ही सगळ्यांनी डाळिंब बघितलं असेल. डाळिंबामध्ये कसं होतं, ते फ्रूट जे आहे त्या फ्रूट मध्ये अनेक पांढरे पांढरे पापुद्रे असतात आणि त्या प्रत्येक पापुद्र्यामध्ये ब्रँच प्लासेंटा आहे आणि त्या प्लासेंटाच्या भोवती ओव्ह्यूल्स लावलेले असतात किंवा चिकटलेले असतात. सो दॅट इज अ टिपिकल ब्रँच parietal placentation. Similar type of placentation is found in the family Hydrocharitaceae. The styles are many. The stigma is capitate. Obviously the pollination may be entomophilous if at all the flowers are coming up in the air by the insects then, or the pollination might be by the hydrophilous nature. Here there is one more unique character of Hydrocharitaceae, that if the flowers are unisexual, the male flowers at maturity, they get detached from the flowers, from the plant. And these male flowers, they start floating on the water body. And then these male flowers, they come in contact with the female flowers, and then they shed the pollen grains. So it is not the movement of the anthers, it is not the movement of the pollen grains, but it is the movement of the male flowers itself is seen in the Hydrocharitaceae, and such a type of movement is treated as one of the most primitive character among the pollination. And because of that, the Hydrocharitaceae family is a highly important family, because it is identifying, or it is giving rise to a new area of interest from phylogenetic point of view, that the family has acquired the aqueous habitat later on. So basically, initially, it seems that Hydrocharitaceae family was a terrestrial family, and later on it has acquired the aqueous habitat. So because of that its character, it is a very interesting family to study. So pollination is either entomophilous or hydrophilous. The fruit is always a fleshy capsule which may be opening up. It's a dehiscent fruit, and the seeds which are present, they are endospermic. Now this is again a diagram of Hydrocharitaceae. You can see a twig there towards the, in Hydrocharitaceae the male and female flowers are separate. You can see the on the right side top the male flower, which is showing the perianth and the stamens which are branched, and at the bottom or at the center of the image you can see the female flower, which is showing the branched style and a ovary at the center, and you can see the male and female floral diagram. So again there is a structure, that is a branched stamens, how they are present, and how the internal stamens and external stamens, they are showing the branched nature. So this is an example of Hydrocharitaceae. Now as far as the phylogenetic significance of this family is concerned, this is an aquatic family which is showing a progressive evolution. So right from the apocarpus condition, we are getting ultimately the syncarpus condition, from the basal placentation to parietal placentation, and from few stamens to many stamens, from the perianth, which is not distinct, to the distinct perianth lobes. This is a progressive evolution which is seen in the family Hydrocharitaceae. Now obviously the trimerous arrangement and the inferior ovary position, it shows the affinity not towards the monocots on one side, but also towards the dicots, because in several members of Ranunculaceae they are showing the trimerous flowers, also the inferior ovary position, and many carpels which are free, this position is seen in the family Nymphaeaceae. So both these are dicot families. The pollination and dispersal of the fruits and seeds, it is showing a very highly sophisticated progressive evolution, and because of that the pollination in the family and the dispersal of the fruits and seeds in this family, it is highly specialized, and because of that the Hydrocharitaceae on one side, it is showing several primitive characters, but at the same time it is showing the advanced characters also. And because of that, this family on one side, it is showing a close relationship with the Alismataceae family, which is the aquatic monocot, where the free and many stamens are present, as well as the free and many carpels are present. The only difference is that in Alismataceae, many stamens are present, they are free, but here in Hydrocharitaceae, the stamens, even though they are many, they are present in many whorls. So it is a more primitive character than Alismataceae. And that's why Hydrocharitaceae is an important family. However, unfortunately, as far as the carpel condition is concerned, the carpels are free, the carpels are many, but they are present in a fused condition. So obviously it is showing a parietal placentation. So as far as the carpel evolution is concerned, it is showing a very highly advanced character. And because of that, it is showing a very large range of diversity in the fusion of floral characters, reproductive characters, and their aggregation together. And because of that, the Hydrocharitaceae is one of the most important family among the aquatic monocots. Because even though it is having the aquatic nature, on one side, it is showing a parallel evolution and its affinity towards the herbaceous aquatic dicots, that is the group Renales on one side, and Alismataceae and many others, which are from the monocotyledons. So because of that, Hydrocharitaceae is that very important family. Also, the physiological character, that is the CAM mode, the crustacean acid metabolism, which is reported in Hydrocharitaceae, it clearly indicates that this is an advanced family. Even though it is showing several primitive characters, the CAM nature shows an advanced family, and it also indicates that basically all the members of the Hydrocharitaceae, they were terrestrial members, terrestrial plants, and they were having a C3 mechanism. But later on, when the plants migrated towards the water body, they became the aquatic, and also not only they became the aquatic, but they altered or they modified their mode of photosynthesis, and they became the CAM plants. So they are having a typical adaptive mode of photosynthesis, that is a CAM mode of photosynthesis, and because of that, this also a character which is indicating a phylogenetic significance with the progressive evolution among the monocotyledons. And because of that, the Hydrocharitaceae family is one of the most important family of aquatic monocots, because on one side it is showing the parallel evolution, or sorry, the parallel relationship with the aquatic dicot plants of Renales group, Menispermaceae group, and Nymphaceae group. And on the other side, it is showing a close association with the Alismataceae and several other genera, which are showing a highly specialized characters like Aponogeton and obviously the Najadaceae family. So this is about the Hydrocharitaceae family. So with this, we will stop for the present of the Hydrocharitaceae, and I will go for the chat box. If there are any questions from your side, you can ask me. Or otherwise, we will stop for the present with the discussion of Hydrocharitaceae. Tomorrow again at the 2 o'clock, we'll be gathering together, and tomorrow we'll be studying two families together. The one family is Aponogetonaceae and another family is Najadaceae. Both are monogeneric and both are very important families and interesting families, because these families or these members, they have been separated from the Hydrocharitaceae. Initially, the members were included in Hydrocharitaceae, but later on, they have been separated from Hydrocharitaceae and they have been raised to the level of family. And the Aponogetonaceae and Najadaceae, they are important families from the phylogenetic point of view. So with this, let's stop for the present. And if at all there are any queries, you can open up the question box. Have you received the notes?